Here's our master plan, guys, right? Which is this. Our goal more than anything is to make sure we spread the word to other people about what it is that's going on.
So we have Florida, New York in the building, whole bunch of people in here, guys. Happy Saturday. Happy Black History Month, guys. Happy Black History Month. I know it's the last day, but happy Black History Month, guys. Rather you just got started in entrepreneurship, been an entrepreneur most of your whole life, or just trying to discover what entrepreneurship means to you and what it looks like, I want to let you guys know
Until you start thinking like an employer instead of an employee. Until you start thinking like a business owner instead of somebody looking for a job, it's going to be hard for you to become financially free. Are you on your path? Where are you? And you don't got to tell me, you don't got to say it out loud, but I want you to think, where are you on your path? Because some of you are still below poverty. If you don't know the poverty line, it changes every year, but it's right around 20,000, which means if you have less than 20,000 or earn less than 20,000, you are below the poverty line, right? Next, a lot of people, this is where most people fit in the category. They live in paycheck to paycheck. It's like they're doing good as long as they keep on working. You know what that sounds like? You know what that sounds like, right? If I got to keep on working no matter what, you know what that sounds like, right? When you think of slavery, what do all, if not most slaves look like? You don't got to answer out loud. You already know. They look like you. What you talk about, right? Now, why is this? Why is that most of the time when we think of slaves, we think of Black people? It's because slavery in America was a unique type of slavery. So, like I said before, guys, if you learned about it in school, this was called the Middle Passage. So, like I said, if you look on this little map, what would happen is the people in the Middle East and Europe, they would go to the bottom of Africa where there were undeveloped countries, get individuals who probably couldn't read, didn't understand what contracts they were signing, and then they would bring them to America, to a place that they don't understand, they never been here before, and then they put them in a whole new type of slavery that never existed. You guys getting this, right? And this continued, right? And if you guys see this continued for all the way from 1619 is when we like initially started this process, all the way up until 1865. So for 246 years, this was going on, right? And here's what you guys got to understand. Once slavery was abolished, right, which was in 1865, something new came about. And this new thing that came about was called the corporation. Corporations did not exist before this time. So what we know of as corporations came about at the end of slavery. And guess what the corporations did? So if you guys ever seen the movie Roots, if you haven't, watch it. So in Roots, right, there's a part where slavery is over and they have all the slaves, they have a big party, right? They have a party, they jumping around like, oh, wow, slavery's over, right? And guess what happened? The next day, they was like, all right, where do we go? It was like, I don't know. Like, I've been here my whole life. I don't know where to go. And then they was like, well, can we just stay here? Well, I don't know. Let's ask the boss. Hey, master, can we stay? Are you seeing where we're going with this? So then what happened is, if you guys look it up, majority of the major corporations that exist today outside of technology, right? Majority of them, they started between 1850 and 1920. Why? Why? Answer is because they had a lot of slaves that were no longer slaves and they became their workers. Now, I know a lot of people are like, what are you trying to say? What is this, right? Now, here's the thing. We used to pick cotton because there were no machines to pick cotton. Today, machines pick cotton, so people no longer pick cotton. But what do slaves do? The slaves do whatever needs to be done. So remember, slaves weren't only picking cotton, right? Some of them worked in the house. Some of them were drivers, right? Courier, right? Some of them were drivers. What they were doing is they were making the country run. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the thing is that they were not in a position to get themselves out of the situation that they were in. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is the important part, guys. What I mean by that is a lot of people, if you were to tell them today that, hey, you know that the situation that you're in is no different than the slaves was in 100, they wouldn't believe you. Like, what are you talking about? That's not true. That's not true. That can't be the case, right? So here's what you guys got to understand. Do you know one of the things that they did not allow the slaves to do was read? Why not? They didn't allow the slaves to read. The reason why they didn't allow the slaves to read, because like I said, this was a system, guys. Any slave at any point in time was not supposed to be a slave forever. but they didn't understand this. Because remember, like I told you, it started with indentured servitude, right? Which you're only supposed to do slave labor for a certain amount of time. So once that debt was paid off, you should be free to go. Am I making sense? But then if you can't read, you don't know no better, and somebody just tells you, hey, no, you got to stay here forever. You don't realize, wait a minute, I do have choices. I can do something different. So when I'm telling you this whole story about slavery into corporations, into being the modern day slave and a worker, I'm not trying to tell you that you're still a slave. That's not the point, guys. What I'm trying to tell you is that you've been free for a long time, but most of us are still operating the same way we were since slavery because we didn't know what else to do. Are you guys getting this? What if I told you I can tell you a few things right now that you can do right now that can change your life forever? Like I said, I just met one individual after reading a few books that changed my life forever because I started to learn the game, right? So here's the steps. If you're taking notes, write this down. Step number one, once you know better, you can do better. Once you know better, you can do better. And we got to just make sure that we know, right? You ever heard that knowledge is power? It's true, guys. And like I said, what changed my life was me just reading a few of the right books, right? And what can change your life is literally the same thing. Reading a few of the right books. That's it, guys. That's what this is about. This is about spreading the information, spreading the knowledge. Because once we learn the secrets that the millionaires know, guess what? We start making millions of dollars, right?